Hello again, this is Pastor Steve Dammer with A Moment in Ministry. And today I've got Joe Bishop. He works in our maintenance department. There's a lot of other things he does, but he works with specifically our bus ministry. So I'm going to have him introduce himself and talk a little bit about his background.
Hello, my name is Joe Bishop, and I've been around church buses all my life. My dad was a bus driver and a bus captain, and my mom worked at running the program while my dad drove the bus. And I remember as a young child getting up really early on Sunday morning and heading off to the church to open up the bus lot and get the buses running and started for the day. My dad, as long as I can remember, he had a couple jobs earlier in life, but his main job that I always remember is he was a bus mechanic for our public school. And I recall as a young child, I spent many hours riding on the bus on Sunday, but also I probably spent just as many times under a bus working on it with my dad. And I remember on Tuesday evenings, we would rush home from school and we would get all our homework done and all our chores done so that when my dad came home from work, we would head to the church and we would get under the buses and we would make sure they were fixed and ready for the following week.
So one thing that I wanted to do as far as having an interview is you work a lot with our buses, and so you grew up with them. Your dad was a part of the bus ministry working on buses. When you were in college, you worked down here in the buses. Now you head up our bus ministry. We have a lot of experience with guys, even mechanics, that come in and help you. So explain what you started.
I had this idea. I wanted to be a help to other churches in their bus ministry, and the Lord just gave me an idea one day to, why don't you start a website, and we could put some helps on there with a bunch of different areas of things that we could help other churches with their bus ministry. And I came up with the name churchbusbasics.com. And on there it's basically got 4 different sections of it, but they're all different helps for church bus ministries.
All right, so let's talk about, the one area is practically. All right, so you have ways to fix buses.
Yep.
All right, so I talk a little bit of what you try to do with that.
The first area was practical helps for just fixing your bus. If your bus isn't running down the road, you're not going to be able to use it to pick up people. And my expertise has a lot to do with international buses because that's what we run. So I have a section on there of just all the problems I've ran into with our buses and how I fix them and different helps to do that and how to do it. But I also put a forum on there, so no matter what bus you have, what question you have, you can get on there, type a question, and we can hopefully work together to get that problem solved. Also on that section, I have helps for getting a CDL, and that's very important because without a driver, you can't run your bus also. And then some other areas where to buy bus parts online or where to find used buses for your bus ministry.
Then you also have a section on there. This one is kind of close to me. I don't know a lot about the mechanics, all right? But I'm glad that you're doing it. To me, it's a great help. But the bus ministry side, it's the ministry side. So you have some resources on there, I noticed.
We wanted to be a help with running the bus also, and so we put a bus ministry handbook up there. We have what we call a verse token, which is a verse on a piece of paper that we can hand out to the children. I put some samples up there for you to download and print and use or come up with your own ideas. Also have some song visuals for the bus so you can have a program on the bus. And we have some bus ministry notes on there and just a different areas where you can help run your bus.
Yep. Another area is you have testimonies, and I like that because what we're trying to do is encourage people to be involved in the bus ministry. We don't know how much longer in America we might someday not be able to run buses, but right now we're able to have these ministries, and I know it's hard work. You and I talk about it all the time, and what has changed is the CDL.
Yes.
I'm glad I got grandfathered in to the CDL because it's a lot harder, it's a lot more work intensive to get that. But we also are, through that website, you're able to share some testimonies.
Yeah, I wanted an area of testimonies because as I was sitting down thinking of all the testimonies and people's lives that have been reached through the bus ministry, it just reminded me and gave me a drive to continue doing what we're doing. And I was thinking, there's stories of old. We've got Tony and Todd Wright in our church who've been saved for over 30 years, but they grew up in Michigan City on our bus routes, and they're raising their family for God today and serving in our church because of that. But the bus ministry still is valuable today. Yep. And I even think, that's why I wanted these testimonies up there, because even we have a Nathan Patrick, who has been coming on our buses probably for 16 years, and he started and he had this desire to be in our academy, and so many people chipped in to help him and got him through our academy, and this year he's going to graduate from high school. And when we look at that and his love for God and what we had to help mold his life and how the bus ministry molded his life, it's encouraging to read those stories so that we know that it's still valuable today to run our buses.
Yep. So I'll close with just a couple other examples just to encourage you in the bus ministry. A couple of weeks ago, my wife and I were visiting with a lady that's been coming, and through a course of conversation, she mentioned her bus captain, and he was here at Empowered Youth. She walked in here at Empowered Youth in 2018, and she looked at the man, and he's a pastor. His name is Pastor Golden, down in Jefferson City, Missouri. And she said, "Brother Golden." And she was so excited to see him. And so we got thinking with her, he was a bus captain in the 80s, which dates him, Pastor Golden. If you're watching this, it's dating him. But also, here is somebody that 20-something, or is that 30 years later? All right, 30 years later, she's coming to church again because of somebody that 30 years ago stopped by and said, "Hey, you need to be at church." You never know the impact that you may have, even years down the road, that they may not come to church for a little bit. But if you can show that person a little love, you can have some concern in their life when they're a young person, a teenager, I believe that we can have an impact for the future with folks with the gospel of Christ. Again, thanks, Joe, for taking your time. And mention the name of the website again.
churchbusbasics.com.
churchbusbasics.com. Look it up. I think you'll enjoy it.